Hey, you all ready for this? Well, good evening, track gang. Wait a minute. we almost screwed this up. Really screwed this up. Okay, let's try this again. Good evening, track gang. As you saw, there was a bit of a picture before this came up. And that is the fact that I'm trying something rather, and I'm sorry if my hand is in front of the cameras. I'm trying to make sure that I have everything. No, not in that direction. Thank you very much. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it was zoomed in. I'm actually trying a 3-camera setup here at the moment because I want to see what one is actually recording better. So right now we've got my cell phone is up there. The Handycam is over here on my left, your right, and the NX300 is on my right, your left, and my left, your right is the NX300. Now, that was white, this is tan, and that's the blue, and I've never been happy with the blue, so, but I'm going to see what the different intensities kind of look like as well on each of these. That's way too bright. You know, like I said, that there, I've always liked that warm light better than, well, that's the blue, and there's no way I'm going to use blue. So we're going to go back to the warm. Anyway, track gang, here it is. We're on vlog number 2. It happens to be January the 7th, I believe. Yeah, it's Thursday, January 7th. I just got finished doing some other work down here, and then I also went ahead and did something that we're going to touch on here in a minute. But I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of an update as to things that are going on at least here. One of the big things is the fact that, well, you know, we did vlog 1, and that was talking about the car card system. Well, the boxes anyways. I just got finished mounting the ones for the southbound side, and I figured, you know what, before I get too far ahead of myself, let's go ahead and we'll mount the northbound ones. But I figured I'd show that. I also, one of the things that I was working on before I started the camera here was my wife and daughter had gone and finally gotten 2 of the pictures that I had. They got framed. Oh, we've been framed. I'll go ahead and I'll get a little closer to these here in a little bit. Not right now. We're on the big tripod because there's no way in heck the rig that I've got set up right now would work on the other tripod. But what it is the far picture is actually got 5 locomotives on it. I believe it's the Florida East Coast, the Atlantic coastline, the Southern, the Baltimore and Ohio, and there was the Seaboard. So there's, I think they're like I know they're all E units. And they were obviously passenger trains that came in and out of Union Station here in Maryland. Like I said, in a little bit, we'll go ahead and we'll take a closer look at those. One of the things I'm noticing with my cell phone picture, though, is my shirt, instead of showing up black, is showing up kind of off brown. Oh, the joys of video editing. One of these days I'll get it right. Keep futzing, we'll get it right. So anyway, I'm going to probably not use the whole rig when we go back to the back, but I think that's what we're going to do now. We're going to stop here for a second. I'm going to go ahead and swing the cameras to the back side of the layout, and we'll go from there. So give me a minute. We'll be right back. I so love the cell phone thing because it's got a fob for it, and I can see what I'm doing. Well, all right, we'll see how well this works out. So I've got the boxes made up, as I've mentioned. I've already got the boxes over here for the southbound yard done, and we're going to go ahead and work on the ones for the northbound yard. And of course, I don't even know why I'm bothering trying to keep stuff in order here, because it's going to need to be all rearranged anyway. Now, this was just held on with, these were just held on with staples. And thankfully, unlike the other one, they all came out with the foam core. So, I was really hoping to be able to keep these separated, which it looks like I'm going to be able to do. The only downfall is where I've got these bolts sitting, I can't put the third box in here. So it's going to have to, it's just going to have to go to the other side of the bolts that are holding up the stanchions that are actually holding the shelving in place, or the drawers. So we're just going to pop that there. Pop that there, and we're going to put one more dead center just for good measure. Now these are, the ones that I'm actually using now are what they call ceiling tile or cell tile staples, unlike the last ones, which I think were like 3/8 of an inch. One thing is these boxes are a little thicker than what the foam core was, especially where the flaps were, and it just works out better this way. So let's get this, and what I'm doing is I'm actually trying to get it to where it's lined up with the underside of the 2x4. And why would that matter? Well, when you put the cards in now, they're below layout level, or benchtop level, which is great. And of course I'm going to end up with a whole bunch of nice clips now, because I'm not going to need to use the clips anymore, because these sitting here are so much nicer. I'm telling you. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. So what I'm actually thinking about doing, and the reason why I said these cards may not stay this way, is I'm going to try and do this, try and do this without causing too much hate and discontentment. I've been having issues. This is the the thin stand that I got with the light, and it really doesn't light the camera, to be perfectly honest. The reason why I said the cards may not stay this way is I'm thinking about using one of these boxes for the locals, and then using the other two boxes for the through freights. I'm going to play around with that idea here in a little bit. I'll let you know how it plays out. I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to bore you with that. But I'm really happy with how these turned out so far. Yeah, I mean, if they work as well as they look, we're going to be golden. So let me go ahead and do a couple things, and I'm going to go ahead and swing around to the back side of the camera here. We're going to stop for a second. I'm going to try and see if I can get you guys down on the other end where I put those pictures up and kind of explain them to you. So we'll be back. Okay, so this is done for the Queen Anne's Railroad. This is not exactly a photograph, but it's actually a picture. I'm not sure where it came from or how I got a hold of it, to be honest, but that's that. And over on this side, of course, there's my Lionel clock. But over on this side, and of course, one of the backdrop posts is going to get in the way. This is what I was talking about a little bit ago with the different locomotives, and on the left is a purple locomotive. That's the Florida East, I believe that's the Atlantic Coastline. The one next to it, the red and yellow, that is the Florida East Coast. The one next to that is the Seaboard. The one next to that is the Southern, and then all the way on the right is the Baltimore and Ohio. And I think the B&O one might be an E8 or an E7. They don't actually tell you on the picture what they are. So that's it for now. Alright, Truck Gang. I'm back. It's now Monday, January the 11th. Happens to be my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Not going to go there. Slightly different shot, still messing around with the camera. I've actually got something, I actually figured out something here. I actually came up with a way I can look at the viewfinder on the NX300 without actually being able to see it. What I did is I actually have my cell phone hung upside down over top of the viewfinder, and I'm looking at the cell phone to be able to look at the viewfinder. It's a little bit ridiculous, but hey, at least I can see what the heck's going on, and I can kind of see what the picture quality looks like, and it looks pretty freaking good at the moment. So hey, that'll work. Decided after, I know I was playing around with the shots earlier, actually the other day when I first started this vlog, which is vlog number 2. I had messed around with it a little bit and was playing around with the cell phone, the NX300, and the Handycam. I'm going to stick with the NX300 for the time being. I think number one, it's got good picture quality. It seems like now that I've got the ring light, the lighting is really good with it. I'm still looking at maybe possibly I might use the cell phone. But only if I want to use the other stand. Now, I know that there's been requests for me to do another layout tour. I think I'm getting pretty close to where I could probably pull that off. That might be coming up here very shortly. I also realize that on this camera I've actually got something that I started towards the end of actually at the end of last year. I went ahead and, as you all know, after I finished, or while I was doing the op sessions, I was saying something about the fact that I needed to pull the stuff off the layout and do some maintenance. Well, that got done. I also went through and started to weigh out the passenger cars, the box cars, the cabooses, so on and so forth. However, and I'm going to see what happens on my next op session, however, there's a caveat. I'm doing things my way. I tried to hit the NMRA standard as close as I possibly could. Using something that most people would probably sit there and cringe and laugh and whatever else at, and that's completely fine because I do things differently. I was actually using nuts, bolts, and washers to go ahead and weight down the cars, at least the ones that you couldn't see into. Putting the nuts and bolts and things of that nature in spots where you couldn't see them, but still being able to get the weight up. But one thing hit me, and I was talking to, and of course somebody that you all are somewhat familiar with, but Big John, happens to be my bowling treasurer and an S-gauger, or an S-scaler. One of the things that him and I talked about was, I'm never probably going to have this stuff ever leave the basement. It's not going to go to a club layout. It's not going to be going anywhere other than here. So why should I go ahead and try to conform to a standard that's 50 years old? And it's one of the things that I've seen crossing the internet quite a bit is, the standards have changed. And I'm actually kind of considering or thinking about, and this is something that you guys can leave in the guys and gals can leave in the comments, but it's actually something where I'm thinking about kind of coming up or bending the standard and coming up with something of my own. I'm not sure yet. I'm thinking of maybe what I'll do is I'll take a look at some of the original weighting that I had and maybe come up with something that averages out, or taking a look and seeing what JMRI and the NMRA say and what I had, and coming up with something that's somewhere in between. I don't know yet. I have to see how things run with it weighted correctly, or at least to the NMRA standard, and see how things go. But I just have a feeling with some of my equipment, some of this stuff is just going to be way too heavy for it to pull now. Or another case in point, yeah, I weighted all the cabooses, but I can't get inside of like half the 75% of my refrigerator cars, which means I can't weight those down. Obviously, another issue is the hopper cars, the gondola cars, and the flat cars. There's no room to put weight. We've discussed that before. You know, I've heard people say, hey, put in, with the gondolas, put in false floors. And one of the things that I think it was Jason the Train Freak had mentioned was, you know, even the rear railroads, when they're running flat cars or the skeleton cars or the well deck cars, if they're empty, they have to run under restricted speed. Okay, so there's another thing going towards that wonderful P word, that prototype operation, you know, of following what the real railroads do. So, I mean, let's put it this way. We've all talked about this in the past. And that's the fact that you put 10 model railroaders in a room, you ask them a question, you're probably going to get 10 different answers. Who's wrong? Who's right? Really nobody. Why? Because it's your railroad. You do what you want. But even at that, if you're going to conform, or if you're going to have your setup to where you want to go to a club, or you want to go to train shows when they start happening and be able to run your equipment or show off what you've got, yeah, I can see wanting to do NMRA standard. I get that. But if you're going to be stuck down here in the basement, or in your train shed, or in your loft, wherever your railroad might be, and it's never going to leave the house, it's never going to leave the room, really? Come up with something of your own. So I think that's where I'm going to be at. Anywho, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop here, and we're going to call it a night and call it a vlog. I'm going to go ahead and get this son of a gun uploaded, or get it edited and get it uploaded, and you all know the deal. Wait for the highball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch you all next time. Be safe. God bless. We will see ya.